Hi everyone. Today we start Unit 4, which is called Two Variable Statistical Analysis, and we're going to do Lesson 1 right now. And Lesson 1 is really a lot of definitions and then drawing our first median line. So this Unit 4 is going to seem similar to Unit 3 in that there's a lot of concepts that we need to memorize, key terms, and there's like a visual display with scatter plots. So first we've got the definition of scatter plot. That's a graphical method that shows a relationship or trend between two variables. The independent variable, those values are arbitrarily chosen. They're usually on the x-axis, and then the dependent variable are the values that depend on the independent variable, usually on the y-axis. A trend is a pattern that occurs over time. A line of best fit is a straight line graph that best represents the set of data, and a correlation is the apparent relation between two variables. So everything we did in Unit 3 was one variable data. We were just counting the number of times different observations occurred into like a frequency. Now we're going to put two different variables on an x and a y axis and then see if there's a pattern involved. So when we describe correlation, we usually talk about type and strength of correlation. So the type of correlation, we can have positive ones if the line of best fit has a positive slope. If the line of best fit has a negative slope, we call that a negative correlation. And then we've got strength of correlation. So the trend is strong, we say there's a strong correlation. If the trend is apparent but not strong, we say there's a weak correlation. If it's somewhere in the middle, we can say medium or moderate correlation. If there's no trend, then there's no correlation. So it says recall oval test from grade 9 to test for strength and correlation. So when we do an oval test, it's just circling all of the points together as a group. And if it's almost like an oval shaped, then we say it's very strong. And if it's closer to a circle shape, then we say it's no correlation or potentially a weak correlation. So this first one here, example 1 says to classify the correlations. So this would be my little oval test here. It's like an oval, so I'd say there's a strong positive correlation. Right? Whenever they say correlation, you have to say whether it's negative or positive, and if it's strong or weak or no correlation. This one here, I'm doing that oval test again. It's still like an oval, so I say it's strong, but in this case, it's going down to the right, so we're going to say it's a negative correlation. This one here, I'd say I'm trying to put an oval around all of it. It's more like a circle, so I'd say no correlation here. Here I'd say, okay, maybe we'd say a weak correlation or moderate correlation. So I'm going to say weak positive. I'd still say that this one is weak positive. And this one here, I'd say negative, and I'd say that it's like a moderate correlation. Great, so the next little section is a median line. So it's a linear model used to fit a line to a set of data. It's similar to a line of best fit, but more accurate. And the steps to draw median line are here. We're going to break up the data into 3 vertical sections. Each section should contain the same number of data points or as close to as possible. So I'm going to go through example 2 while talking about these steps. Example 2, there's an environmental club and they're interested in the relationship between the number of canned drinks sold and the number of cans that are recycled. The data they collected are listed below. So we have to first kind of ask ourselves, what is going to depend on the other? Does it make sense to say that the canned drinks sold depend on the number of cans recycled, or does it make more sense to say the number of cans recycled depends on the number of canned drinks sold? Well, This one should be the dependent variable, and this one should be the independent variable. So part A says to draw the scatter plot. So I'm going to say canned drinks versus cans recycled for my title. Okay, on my Y, I'm putting number of cans recycled. And on my X, I'm going to put number of canned drinks sold. Okay, then I'm going to choose a scale. So my number of cans drinks sold goes from 15 to 36. So maybe I go up by twos here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and 36. So I'm going to now figure out my number of canned drinks recycled. Let's just 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, no, I have to go up to 10 there. I'm going to go by twos on that one. So now I'm going to go ahead and plot my points. So here's, oops, number of canned drinks sold is 15 here, and then we've got 6 over here, and 18 and 2, 23 and 4, 25 and 1, 28 and 6, 30 and 8, 30 and 4, 36 and 10, and there we have it. So maybe I should have used a break at the beginning of this to jump to maybe 10, but I'll just leave it like that. And it says to describe any patterns you might see in the graph and identify the type and strength of the correlation. So if I was to draw a circle around this, I'd say that this is either a moderate correlation and positive correlation. And then if it just asks to describe it, we're going to talk about the x-axis and then talk about what is happening with the y-axis. So as we increase the number of canned drinks sold, oops. What do we see happening to the number of cans recycled? It's also increasing because all these dots are going up. As we increase the number of canned drinks sold, we see an increase of number of cans recycled. That would be a good description for that scenario. Now it says to draw on the median line. So we're going to go through all these steps up here that I kind of bracketed out. So the numbers here, 15 through 36, based on the x's, they are a numerical order. So I'm going to split this up into 3 sections. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to try for symmetry here because it's 3 ordered pairs, then 2 ordered pairs, and 3 ordered pairs. We're breaking up the data into 3 vertical sections. Each section should contain the same number of data points or as close to as possible. We're going to find the median, the X median, and the Y median for each of these sections. So this would be a work that needs to be shown. So I'm going to do that on the side here. Well, maybe I don't have to keep going up and down. Oh yeah, it's right there. Okay, so delta 1 is what we use for the first median number. So I'm just going to write down the X's are 15, 18, and 23. I'm also going to take these 3 Y's, and within this one section, I'm writing it down in numerical order. So 2, 4, 6. So there's a true median here for delta 1, delta 2. I'm going to pick up 18. I'm going to pick up 4. There's a true middle number here. So delta 1 is going to be, these were the Y's, 18, comma 4. And I'm going to even draw it on my grid here on my scatter plot, 18 and 4. So I'm going to do a little, oops, I'm really over to the side here, 18 and 4. A little bit off there. Maybe I'll use red. So 18 and 4, this is my first delta. My next one, delta 2. There is no true middle here. I can put them in numerical order fine, but there's no true middle. So we've got to add them together and divide by 2 for each of these. So 25 plus 28 divided by 2 gives me 26.5. And then 1 plus 6 divided by 2 would give me 3.5. Okay, so that's delta 2. Delta 2 is going to be 26.5, comma 3.5. 26.5, and I'm going to go red again. 26.5 and 3.5. So maybe like somewhere here. That's delta 2. And then delta 3. Okay, delta 3, I'm just going to put in red here. We've got 30, 30, 36. Those ones are in numerical order already, but the bottom ones aren't. So we're looking at 4, 8, 10. So it's 30 and 8 that are going to be the X and the Y for this delta 3. 30 and 8. It's going to land right on this point here. So that's my calculation of all 3 deltas. Just going to scroll up to see our steps. We're going to have to, we plotted the median points using the deltas. Using a ruler edge, we're going to connect the first and the third median points. If the second point is not on the line, we're going to slide the ruler about 1/3 of the way toward the second point, but we're not going to change the slope of the line. So I'm even going to draw in a couple of lines here. So I'll say that my gray line here is just, it's not going to be my real median line. I'm just like testing things out. It's kind of like my work. So I'm going to connect delta 3 to delta 1, right? That does not cross through delta 2. So we're going to have to go with that sliding thing. If delta 2 was lying on this line, then I could just extend it and say that's the median line, but it's not. So I'm going to have to think of 1/3 of the way towards delta 2 without changing the slope. So I'm just going to give myself a little guideline here. You don't have to do a perpendicular like I'm doing here, but I find that it helps people understand what it means to slide the ruler down 1/3 of the way. So that's the shortest distance between the line and this point. It's the perpendicular. And I'm just going to divide this line into 3 parts, into thirds, right? So this line that I drew in, connecting delta 1 and delta 3, it has to slide a third of the way down. So it's still a line of best fit. I'm just going to picture it on my end, and I'm going to extend it. I'm going to keep that same, it has to be parallel. And that would be my median line. I'll change my final answer. I hope I can change it to a different color here. Let's do this. Can I? I don't think I can. So I'll just write on top of it that this one here is the median line. The one that slid a third of the way towards the delta 2. That's how we draw in a median line, showing all of this work, 1, 2, 3 marks, showing the delta 3s, and then a 4th mark maybe, or to draw in that line correctly. So use the median line to determine the number of cans that will likely be found in the recycling box if 35 canned drinks are sold. So based on this median line, I can interpolate. I'll just go green here. 35 would be here. So going halfway through this box, and then once I get to this median line, I'm going to look across, and that's about 9. 9 cans will be recycled. Okay, everybody, so now we are done the first lesson, and you can do the homework, worksheet number 1, for this day. Have a great one.